manufacturing is a vehicle to grow and sustain a higher standard of living for global communities and individual families. From increased GDP and lower unemployment to a better quality of life, manufacturing can be the answer for a multitude of complex issues. Today, technology and innovation drive growth within the sector and keep the industry current. Modern manufacturing is again changing the global economic landscape and influencing the direction of our future. The UK is home to a vast array of specialist manufacturers, all of whom are fundamental to a strong and vibrant economy. However, despite a wealth of industry knowledge, the performance of British manufacturing is dependent on many differing factors, including global events, supply and demand, a skills shortage, innovation and design, sector trends, as well as governmental direction. In the next half hour, Executive TV will explore some of these challenges with help of key industry experts. Due to the global nature of modern-day manufacturing, the importance of international relations cannot be underestimated. Supply chains have grown in intricacy and complexity, so with plants and suppliers based across the world, organisations need to be aware and understand geopolitical risks.
We've got economic instability, we have the leftovers from the COVID pandemic, we had Brexit, and now we have rising costs, which obviously affect things like energy. So those compounded provided some real challenges for us as a manufacturer. And obviously we've had to look at them independently to kind of manage through them, some of which are obviously still here now. However, we are sort of coping well. We've seen growth through a fairly challenging period. And from that point of view, it's a positive, albeit there are negatives if you look at them as a whole. Over the years, we've seen the world become a much smaller place. You know, people can buy from abroad. The only thing that sort of slowed that down slightly is the pandemic, whereby obviously restrictions were put on sort of buying from abroad. Brexit also caused issues with logistics, sourcing, and actually customs. And then there are further issues like the price differentials between us and China, for instance. At one point in time, we could actually go to China and manufacture certain products at probably 50% of the cost of the UK. Fortunately, that seems to that's diluted slightly from the point of view that some of our materials are sourced from Europe, so specialist materials, like for instance, armoured material, when we're looking at blast and ballistics. And obviously logistics was one issue. The politics were another, actually getting through customs. And, you know, all those sort of things, when you sort of had them all together, you know, you've got some major challenges to sort of sift through and manage. The British products are well engineered. We're renowned throughout the world for the British standards, which have been around for some years, and the ethos of those products is still apparent today. However, I think, again, it goes back to the struggles that smaller companies have to actually promote those products outside of the UK and also within the UK. But we don't really export an awful lot of material to Europe. However, there are certain products that we buy in from Europe, and that tends to be more like raw materials, particularly sort of specialist materials for blast and ballistic. That has proved a little bit more difficult with obviously customs, again, logistical issues. There was a shortage at one point of lorry drivers. And so all these things again start to compound and affect the business. I suppose the key issue for us is that we thought about that. We increased our stock holding quite dramatically to ensure that we had at least 6 months stock in our sort of stockpiling. And that gave us the ability to not be too reliant on some of the issues that we were seeing elsewhere, but obviously feed the demand from our customer base.
In recent years, British manufacturing has been significantly impacted by economic and social challenging events, each of which causing disruption to the supply chain and manufacturing processes, and therefore reducing productivity. This has meant British manufacturers have been forced to streamline their operations and rethink their production process in order to remain competitive.
When COVID hit, actually, if we hadn't run the company in a sensible way and we'd overstretched financially, we wouldn't have survived COVID, even though we were a growing company at the time. So it's taught us to be cautious. So we're cautiously waiting to see what opportunities occur.
Many suppliers reduced their capacity or even stopped manufacturing entirely during 2020. And then demand shot up much more than anybody really expected. And even now, some of them are struggling to keep up with the increased demand. And as a consequence of that, prices have very much increased with all the global issues we have at the moment.
It's very important to have a robust supply chain. We have to buy in raw materials like other companies. If for whatever reason we can't get materials, it impacts us on getting our products to market and supplying our customers, which in turn they work to a short deadline. If you take a wheel off a car and refurb it, you have a couple of days to do that. If for whatever reason they don't get the product in time, it delays it for the end user. We're in a market now where everyone wants everything the next day, wants efficiency and availability. So we try and thrive to make sure that happens.
Staff training and skills are fundamental to the success of any manufacturer. In recent years, British manufacturing has experienced a shortage of skilled staff, specifically in the engineering sector. Organisations have also committed to upskilling existing staff through training and development courses, ensuring their workforce continues to keep up with new and emerging technologies and the skills required in their role.
Within the educational system, little information is provided for construction skills within the mainstream. The training programme that we have at Bona is an integral part of what we're doing here, and it's important for a couple of reasons. And the first one is that Bona is a real innovator, and we're really leading the way in terms of development of new systems as well as new products. The main focus that drives product development is health and safety as well as functionality, but we're also looking at improving the working practices of our contractors. So we run several different training courses. The Bona Certified Contractor Programme is aimed at our wood flooring contractors. We also run a course for the resilience system where we're treating rubber, PVC, linoleum and other surfaces like these. So they're run separately as different courses. The innovation aspect really drives the need for training because we're introducing new systems which our contractors have to be aware of. A secondary benefit of our Certified Contractor Programme is that it gives architects and specifiers a way of assuring the specifications that they produce are carried out in the best and most practical way. So it's important for us to get our products to market, to have competent contractors to use them. It's really important that future contractors receive accurate information from the manufacturers. That's always going to be the best source of information. Unfortunately, the scenario, which is often quite common, is that experienced contractors take on younger apprentices and are therefore trained in those working practices that their boss has been exposed to. So if they've had little contact with manufacturers, in other words, they're essentially self-taught, then the skills and information that they're delivering to the next generation could be quite outdated.
Installation and sanding and sealing of wooden floors is a physical job. The industry is getting older, so we need new people into that industry from schools. So we need them to be taught woodworking and carpentry. We need independent colleges like Floor Skills to do the training and apprenticeships. We need the contracting companies to do apprenticeships. And we can then take those and develop those skills.
Finding staff who are suitable for a very bespoke business is quite difficult. With staff, we find that a much better way is to bring people in who perhaps have little experience of the paint industry, but then we can do in-house training and tailor our requirements. We have a diversity in the UK of cultures and ability. We're technically very excellent. We have a lot of universities on our doorstep where we can tap into their expertise. And we also, being the world's 5th largest economy, have a great demand for our products in many countries too.
There is currently a skills shortage within manufacturing. I think the colleges are working quite closely with the government to try and drive through youngsters into a more hands-on role rather than IT-based roles at the moment.
What the education's got to show us, or to show individuals, to attract them into manufacturing and engineering, is the benefits of that and show them the bigger picture. They've got to encourage them at that early stage. I think the education sector has got to show, you know, the benefits of manufacturing, and what areas can be learned, and, you know, the different techniques. I think it's probably perceived that, you know, it's a hands-on sort of a environment and that, but, you know, they're not possibly seeing the new technologies coming through, the new machinery advances, and they need to make them aware of those.
I think personally, from my perspective, during the early stages of secondary school, there should be more hands-on training and abilities to do woodwork, especially metalwork as well, which would then introduce them further into a manufacturing industry for us.
The manufacturing industry has long been associated with innovation, as the industry has been revolutionised by emerging technologies. Innovation in manufacturing occurs through research and development of operational and product development processes, driven by aims at increasing efficiency and reducing costs. Forms of innovative technology which has influenced British manufacturing include additive manufacturing, a computer-operated approach to construction and industrial production, and automation, replacing the human operation of production systems with AI technology.
Certainly some of the latest developments that we've got coming through have already, this year, probably going to give us our strongest year ever from a point of view of sales and production, etc. So moving forward, we know those products have only just started going into a small sector. They will increase. We have massive opportunities within other sectors purely because the amount of energy and they're going to save, and the speed of the process on the alloy wheel refurbishment side of things. So we see that development as a massive boost to our ability to grow as a company. Obviously, we've got to get all the systems in place, which Nilesh is working on at the moment. Over the next 3 to 5 years, I think we'll be tripling in size as a company. Almost certainly, and potentially we will then have outlets abroad as well. But we see export as important. But at the moment we're just waiting to see how these free trade deals go, etc., and then make a call on where we go. At the moment, Canada's quite exciting. We have some good opportunities in Canada. We have good opportunities in the States.
Technology already is changing, driven probably by primarily energy. And energy prices going up and up, as we all know. So that drives technology for lower temperature cure products. I think we're already seeing changes, and they're mainly driven by two things really. One is increased energy prices, where customers are looking to reduce the temperature they can use our products. And the second is consistently of sustainability and increasingly green products to reduce customers' carbon footprints. R&D is definitely the lifeblood of our company. Many companies look at R&D as an expensive necessity, but for us it's the only way that we can develop consistent, new exciting products which meet our customers' needs. Both when we started and every day we're constantly developing new things. It's in my heart because I'm obviously technically based, and developing new products is interesting and exciting, and seeing those brought to fruition in the marketplace.
R&D is one of those issues that you have to invest first to get the results. And equally, a lot of people see R&D as perhaps a choice. We don't. We see it as essential, because R&D ensures that you pioneer different products into different niche markets, and you look at what the market requires, the trends, the analysis, and that determines what path strategically the business takes.
Bona prides itself in the innovation. In fact, it's one of our core principles. And since the 1970s, in fact 1978, we delivered the first successful water-based finishes. This was a major innovation, and such landmarks have continued to occur regularly throughout the development of our business, such as the rejection of solvent-based adhesives, which we discontinued in 2010, which was well before these products were highlighted as undesirable. So we've been a key leader in altering the market for very positive developments such as these. Others include the dust-free sanding system that we innovated, and this process will continue, again, refining the health and safety of our products and our systems.
Innovation also plays a key role in the design process. Design innovation relates to addressing shifting consumer needs by applying advanced technological design systems and sensibilities. Creating market opportunity and customer value is paired with a design-driven approach and strong business strategy.
Design is critical. We go through an accreditation process with our products, so everything that we manufacture seems to be accredited by a third party, which is the LPCB. And that ensures that when we manufacture to exacting standards. And therefore, the product that we supply is obviously fit for purpose and provides the criteria and performance that the end user requires. To actually get the certification, there's a lot of investment with R&D and obviously cost. But the sacrifice is well worth it because the end results are the fact that we become a leader in our field, and also we're providing the product that has the integrity that people expect.
The design specification requirements that come from the end user or what the client requires, and also the aesthetical side. The architects like to see a nice product which is also fit for purpose.
We have two key sectors that we supply into. We do advanced colour design, and we're tier one partners with a number of very well-known automotive companies where we do actually automotive car colour design and alloy wheel colour development. And our main retail is business to business, but we supply a lot of product, specialist products in a range of chemistries into the alloy wheel refurbishment market, which relies on match to every alloy wheel you see out there is painted. And we need to match and replicate those colours and enable our customers to be able to refurbish the wheels as if they're brand new again. And we have a range of chemistries that allow our customers to do that. And we do supply some customers who are doing tens of thousands of wheels a month down to people who are doing single wheel a day in a van. So we have a range of products that suit all those market sectors.
The trend of the environmental agenda has influenced many sectors of the business world, including the manufacturing industry. Manufacturing has been labelled as a significant contributor to global carbon emissions. Therefore, British organisations have been focused on developing more environmentally friendly practices to reduce their environmental impact. One way in which British manufacturers have transitioned to a green approach is through the utilisation of sustainable materials and energy. Sustainable manufacturing can be achieved through powering operations with energy generated from natural resources, while ensuring effective waste management of raw materials, such as recycling and biological reprocessing.
I think the wider trends in the industry going forward are going to continue on the sustainability messaging, as well as high performance products.
This is something that's a primary focus for Bona. And I expect development to continue in terms of producing more sustainable solutions, including cleaner and more effective products. This is a key principle of Bona and is something that's likely to continue. Also, I can see an increased need for refurbishment of surfaces rather than replacement. I think this is going to come under increased focus. And as raw materials become less available, there's going to be even greater need to refurbish these surfaces rather than replace them in terms of costs and downtime. In the future, I predict an ongoing development in terms of cleaner and more effective products. So it's going to be really important that we keep on top of the training and provide that information to our customers. As for what challenges we face in the future, I think sustainability is going to be a really important aspect. And as with the resilient system, where we're extending the life of existing surfaces, we've been doing this with wood flooring for a long time. And this is going to become an increasingly important aspect of our business.
Wood is a sustainable resource if managed correctly. The timber that we use within a wooden flooring for the surface material could take 50 or 100 years to grow to the point that it can be used on a floor. To make it fully sustainable, we really should be looking to extend the life of floors by protecting them fully. Bona has made great strides towards making the cleanest, greenest products. What I would like to see within the industry is actually some of the less green products removed from sale, because why should we still be selling these products? Sustainability is very important because the world is getting hotter and we need to do something about emissions of all products. So if everybody can take a good stance in their emissions from products, we put the planet in a better place. It's amazing how many people don't know that their floors can be renovated. So what we're looking to do is to educate and train people how to restore floors, to give them extended life, to save them money.
We're always looking at recyclable packaging and products that are going to be better for the environment. We're currently working on products that will reduce energy costs for an end user, as well as more innovative products as well.
JT's committed to producing as green a product as possible. We are very much helped by partnerships with our raw material suppliers, who are constantly innovating with new materials which can produce lower energy usage and also producing less organic vapour into the atmosphere. So we are very much in partnership with those companies and also driven to producing those in the marketplace, and is one of the reasons why R&D is so important to us. New developments are mainly driven by two things. One, again, is energy and being able to use products at a lower energy, therefore customers being able to save money.
As the government announced its commitment to a net zero economy, regulations and incentives have been implemented, which have influenced manufacturing organisations' decision-making. However, government involvement within the industry is not limited to environmental responsibility.
The government position of net zero is great because it will push people to look at CO2 emissions, and this directs them towards more environmental products. If you take something like our new resilient system, recoating a vinyl floor reduces CO2 emissions by 90% compared to replacing that material.
With British businesses continuing to face current harsh economic conditions, concerns have been raised as to whether the government is doing enough to support manufacturers, as their performance is essential to the UK's economic recovery.
There's a lack of investment from the government. Obviously, corporation tax is a bugbear for most businesses, and we class ourselves as a growing SME. So from our point of view, any costs that could be supported by government or even looked at from a point of view of rebate or business support would certainly give manufacturing in general, I think, a supporting arm, which at the moment seems to be lacking from the government. I'm not sure their focus is really on what I would say the true SMEs that were once a sort of the stronghold for the UK.
Waiting to see which way the government goes with free trade deals, and also what incentives they offer to companies as well, because obviously it's expensive. We don't want to be borrowing money to have the expansion. We want to be doing it within our own financial abilities, because that's how we've grown as a company. Had we not been sensible and run the company in a sensible way and actually held reserves, we would have been much more severely affected by COVID.
Manufacturing continues to be one of the most important sectors of British business, not just because of the goods provided for the marketplace, but also the impact on the economy in general. As manufacturing processes continue to develop through innovation, the skills and expertise required have also developed. With this trend, as well as others, such as the environmental agenda, set to continue, it gives us an interesting insight as to what the manufacturer of the future will look like.